Hi folks, just a talking head video in this one. We'll talk a little bit about the boys before the season opens. Coming up. All right guys, I want to read what, I can see it from far. Oh yeah, I put here a video on Sabres written off once again. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about this guys because it irks me, you know, and I wanted to have just a chat about the Sabres because I've missed doing that lately. The Sabres right now, if you notice, yes, I get it. Yzerman gets all sorts of love. He's a god. Every fan of every other team think he's the greatest GM since Kraft Dinner. You know, I get that. And then you got Dorion not getting as much love as he should in Ottawa. Not even close. Like you know, Detroit I don't think they've had close to the offseason that Ottawa's had. My goodness. So Ottawa's done an amazing job this offseason, amazing job. And, you know, but you got the fans from a lot of teams saying, well, Ottawa or Detroit might make it and they could make a run. Now Boston's got Bergeron back and Krejci, and I could care less they got Bergeron and Krejci back. These guys are about, what, they're about 55 now? I mean, I don't care what Boston gets back when their veterans are finished, guys. Yes, they're still good players. Yes, they could still produce. And yes, Bergeron had a very good season. But there's a cliff. There's always a cliff with guys like this, you know. Hall of Famers, though, okay, and Krejci's not, but Bergeron is. Some of those guys can last in their 40s. They're so damn good, right? So, but I just think some of the decisions they've made, I mean, getting rid of Cassidy, I don't think was a smart decision over there. I just see Boston falling for some reason this year, and I could be wrong. But as soon as they got Taylor Hall, guys, I kind of wrote them off. As a Stanley Cup threat. I figured they're a good team, mentally strong. But when you got weak links on the team, and I believe that Taylor Hall is one of those guys, and it just, I was thrilled when Buffalo got rid of him, really. I was just thrilled. I thought we could have got more. And I thought on principle, maybe we should have just let him sit out that season and not got to play any playoffs at all. Really? But what kind of worked out for us that way is they signed him, what, was it a 4-year deal, I believe? He signed with the Bruins. I think it was 4. Might have been 3. I think it was 4 years. And I couldn't believe Boston signed him to the amount they signed him and the term. I just couldn't believe. I was hoping they would, but I said, they're not a stupid organization. There's no way they will, and they did, you know? And they really overpaid for Ullmark also. I knew, like last year, he wasn't going to show up in the playoffs. That's another thing. But that's their issues. Boston's getting older. Their core's getting older. Their leaders are so damn good, though, they could maybe get them in the playoffs one last time. Maybe. But I've written them off for a reason. Their age. No other reason. Not that they don't have any heart or nothing. They do. Montreal should be bad again. They're going to be tanking. That's all they talk about in Montreal is the tank now. You know, so I kind of know how the city of Buffalo was. They were going through the Jack Eichel and Connor McDavid draft, and my goodness, that's all you hear out here: tank, tank, tank. So yeah, the Habs are they're in tank mode for sure. I don't think management out here is, and I think they're going to try everything to improve this team, and it's going to frustrate these fans. But I'll tell you what. That Montreal now are in capable hands, okay? They're in very capable hands now with Gorton. They are, and Hughes. They really got some good hockey guys in here and didn't force the French issue, you know, which is good. And I'm allowed to say that because I am French, okay? So I'm allowed to say these things. They didn't force it like they could have. And you know what? The public's kind of taken to them. So we'll see how that works out this year. But I think the Sabres are once again lost in the shuffle of respect, and it drives me crazy. It does. We got the best prospects of any of the teams in this division. Any of the teams. We do. And, you know, Montreal fans will talk about they're loaded with prospects. They're not. Go check their prospect pool, guys. Check how many are first rounders and things. You're not going to find a lot of high picks there. I mean, Gouli is like their top-rated defenseman and their prospects. So Montreal are completely, they're going to refurbish that whole thing though anyway. What Montreal should be excited about is not their prospects. It should be who's running the team now. You know, that's what's good here in Montreal, I'll say about the Habs. Whereas Boston, I don't know. What was the problem with Cassidy? He was a winning coach. I don't know. The Bruins fans can have theories. Nobody knows for sure. None of us are in the dressing room, but all I know is when you got something, a product that's winning, and again, with that older team, when over 50, they won 51 games, I believe, you don't change the coach. It's weird. It's just a weird call. But I kind of relate to it when we let Lindy go when we did, you know? And sometimes you just don't make the dumb move, because then you could pay for a long time later. We'll see. We'll see what Boston does. But I expect Boston to fall below us this year because they're not expected to by anybody. That's why I expect it. And then you got Ottawa, who I think will be better than Buffalo this year. I do. Next year, not this year, the next year after, Tampa Bay's in a mess, guys. If you go look at their cap, it's a horrible mess. They signed all these monster contracts. I don't know what they're thinking. I guess they're thinking, what, somebody's going to want to go and acquire Braden Point for like $9.5 million for a guy that doesn't get a point a game? I don't get that. They got all sorts of guys that are way overpaid now in Tampa, and that's what's going to kill them eventually, I believe. Toronto, I think we'll lose Austin Matthews. I think the Leafs fans are in complete denial of this, and they'll all get upset and say, no, he wants to stay here. Why do you think that, really? Like, why? Why would you want to stay in a Canadian market when you can play in the USA, okay? Pay less tax, at least 8% less tax, 8%. And how are the Leafs ever going to pay Austin Matthews like $14 million? Because that's what he's going to get. You know what? That's what he's going to get. The best thing that could happen for Leafs fans the next 2 years is Austin Matthews gets like 25 goals and 23 goals the next 2 years. It'll cushion the blow if he doesn't stay, and it'll ease that new contract too coming in. Because if this guy continues getting 60 goals a year now, forget it. And Toronto will never be able to afford him. Not with the Tavares contract. It's impossible. They're not going to be able to do it unless they move out Nylander. And by then, everybody's kind of too old and everybody's gone now. And it's like they missed an opportunity, a huge opportunity, I think, Toronto. We'll see. We'll see this year. They can win the cup this year. They could. But I just don't know with their goaltending. Again, we'll see this year with their goaltending, I guess. So this is why I get upset, though, okay, about the Sabres, is because I don't see any reason we can't finish in front of Montreal, Detroit, and Boston this year. I don't see any reason, really. If the Sabres continue on the track they were on last year to close out last season, I don't see any reason we can't finish at least fifth again, really. And that's worst case scenario. Now, say we don't. Say we have this horrible season, everything goes wrong. There's a thing called Connor Bedard at the end of the year this time around. Not Shane Wright, Connor Bedard. There's a big, big difference there, you know. It's the modern day Connor McDavid is what's going on there. So this, anybody that thinks the Russian kid or something is better than Connor Bedard, please stop. Then that means Connor Bedard is a fluke at 15 years old, what he was doing. There's no such thing. Connor Bedard, guys, whoever gets that kid is beyond lucky, whoever gets that kid. And I hope it's Arizona, you know, I do. I hope it's Arizona that gets him. That'll just keep the league quiet. I don't want Seattle to get him because they just started arrogant. They took shots at us at the draft, you might recall. So my rant, okay, about this is enough. With not only our own fans doubting the Sabres, which we're pretty good with, I find, guys. We're a lot better now, I find, with that. All over, I noticed. It's better. There's a better vibe about it now out there. But the opposing fans who just don't even put us in the conversation of the playoffs, I guarantee if the Sabres make a playoff run late in the year, they're all going to be pulling for us. They're going to say, yeah, I kind of seen this coming. Yeah, right. I mean, all these fans that were just trashing us once upon a time are all on the bandwagon now. It'll drive us nuts, but it'll feel pretty good. I'll just never do it to another team. You won't see me doing it. Even teams I don't like. I won't. I'm not going to enjoy the fact that the Habs went through like a disastrous, embarrassing year after they just went to the finals. I don't get any pleasure out of it because I'd rather their fans, I would have rather they would have just locked in their current management back then and everything, but it didn't happen. They got wise, changed the coach, changed the management. I knew they would out here. And, And the Bruins fans, I think, look, it's not like Boston is not a good franchise, and Boston are going to eventually have to build again. They're going to have to do something. They can't continue playing 35-year-olds and expect to win a cup. I mean, it's not logical for me. It's not a logical thing. So Ottawa is the team that I wouldn't be surprised, guys. I would not be surprised if Ottawa's better than I wouldn't be surprised if Ottawa competes for first this year. That's how much I believe in their offseason. Really, that really was an impressive offseason. But they're all in this year. If Ottawa's not that good this year, oof, it's not a good thing. I don't agree with the Giroux signing, though. I think that was a bad signing. But I think everything else they did was really good. I think Claude Giroux, it's a little too much. I thought 6.5 a year, a little too much over there. I like what we're doing. I like we have the cap space open. I think that the Sabres are going to be a year older, a year wiser, a year more ready to make something happen. I don't think last year was a fluke, and I also think, guys, that no matter what way you slice this, we are going to not just be as good as last year. We're going to be not just better, we're going to be wiser. We're going to be able to handle everything just a little better. Going on those road trips now, it won't be the first time for some of these guys, right? They're going to a hotel they remember they went to last year and things like that. Those little things add up in the end. That's my take, guys. My rant, my advice for misguided souls out there that think the Sabres can't do what maybe Detroit can do because Detroit have Yzerman. I think maybe are just a little misguided themselves. We got a hell of a GM ourselves over here that has pulled some great moves, great trades. Not only resurrected our franchise, he's resurrected the pride of the franchise, which didn't look like it was ever coming back. All right, folks, that's it. I'm going to get these up to you, and I'm going to go crash. I will see you. If not tomorrow, I'll see you the day after. I'm still very, very weak, so I'll see you then. Have a good one.